It's
Proper.
visible. Yeah, it's all good.
Okay, great. Hi all, good morning, good evening, based upon the time when you are joining us. It's great to meet you all virtually, and we welcome you to the second session of this ongoing series, which is for Data Cloud for Architects. Just recently, like yesterday, we had something like Data Cloud for Admin and Developers, so that was again a great session. So thank you for your interest and being a part of this series. My name is Gaj. I'm part of Salesforce and I focus on cross-cloud, data cloud, integration, and similar architectural topics. And it's my pleasure to be there in this uh, webinar and share the best of what we can talk about from the side of data cloud. Okay. This is a forward-looking statement which kind of conveys that Salesforce is a publicly traded company, so any kind of buying and purchase decision should be happening on the products which are currently available. So please consult your account executive, your sales team, so that you can take the best decision. Yeah. Um, so coming on to today's session, Jyotsna and team have been running a boot camp for which 12 sessions have already been have taken place. So please take note of this short URL, which will take you to this very interesting uh, YouTube playlist, right? And like you can see on this playlist, we have some 12 sessions and which can get you very much started, not just for the certification, but your complete foundation for data cloud. So this is the short URL, which is like bit.ly/DC99, and that will be useful for you in order to come up and get yourself ready on the foundational aspects for data cloud. Okay. So coming on to today's session, which is all about data cloud architecture. And before we go into a bit about data cloud and what are the like building blocks, what are the capability map and all those things, it will be interesting to understand that why the whole company, why the whole product, like while the whole product ecosystem for Salesforce is pivoting around data cloud, and why it is so important for us. Like what foundational change did Salesforce did in the platform that data cloud became a natural component to all of our products. So for that to explain, I'll talk a bit about Lakehouse architecture on which data cloud is based, right? So for people who are actually not coming from the database or database background, they're like multiple kind of architecture, something like data warehouse, something like data lake, and then come lakehouse architecture, where lakehouse is the most advanced among these three options I've just now spoken about. So the first one, what we're talking about is the data warehouse, and it was kind of being, seen in the past wherein you all had structured data. You would be knowing the schema very well, and you will be getting the data through those structured data sources. You will do some ETL kind of transformations, put into data marts and make it available to business user. This is good, can accommodate huge amount of data, but it has some strict schema enforcement. Yeah. Then came the next part, like something like data lakes, wherein you're able to ingest not just structured but unstructured data as well, but it has less strict schema enforcement. But then what happened was that it was like less efficient in terms of storing the data, and then how much you can kind of expose it back, and how much of kind of migration activity one has to take place, be able to make it available for your data analyst and data scientist. So that transformation was kind of a challenge. So what is now, is prevalent is something called data lakehouse architecture, which is the best of data warehouse and data lake technology. So you can actually go in and you can get the high volume ingestion as well, for which data cloud is known for. And then once the data is sitting in your lake houses, you can actually make it exposed to your platform through your code. I mean, your code approach or no code approach, and then use them for data unification. So this is what the Lakehouse architecture is what being used for data cloud. And this is what was introduced right at the foundation of our platform. Okay. So of this file, you always had transactional databases uh, on which something like your contacts, leads, all the objects, custom objects will go and sit. But then what we did was we added Hyperforce and we had Lakehouse architecture, and that came and sat right at the bottom of our pyramid. So now what we talk about is that everything what you're doing in data cloud is at the metadata level. You need not go and kind of figure out that, okay, how will I connect it? What kind of connectivity would be required? Because it's all the part of platform. So through home org or through non-home org, your flows would still work and they can take back your output in terms of unified profiles or data actions and bring them to your platform. Okay, so what we can see is that we have a synonym for each of the prevalent or existing platform layer. Like for flows, we have got data action. So if you would have, something like you have a contact and you would want to add into contact the latest of the information gathered through data cloud. So through data actions, you can go and add a field into your contact object or update a field into contact object. You would want to assign the something like the lifetime value, all that part you can do through calculate insight and data actions and enrich your contact objects in platform. So all that is possible just because we have got data cloud as a part of the Lakehouse architecture, and it is talking to all of the other layers through be it security, be it data virtualization, all through the metadata layer coming up from the top. So that is where it becomes, really critical for us to understand that, okay, now we have got data virtualization layer as well, wherein we can keep the data into silos and we can actually keep some data into Snowflake. And if the customer is saying that I would not want to migrate it right now, we can do to zero ETL and still have a SQL access on that databases and take it up from there. Something like federated lakes, what is being mentioned here. So this is what the true magic of data cloud is from the foundational aspect. So if someone would have to kind of go in and compare, like we have CRM platform also, and we have got data cloud platform also. So on the right, we have got CRM platform, which means we can have a nice UI and automation. We can have permission sets and all, and we can or it's been built for users who would want to interact with the objects at a record level, like contact, leads, account opportunities, like how I was mentioning earlier on. Whereas data cloud is being built to ingest huge volume of data, and we can model that data, we can create unified profiles, we can map data from multiple data sources and create a unified profile out of it. So basically, it's like an highway for data being mentioned on the slide that you can get the data into huge chunks, and obviously you need to transform that data, you need to validate that data, all of that has to be done. But it keeps that data continuing in a continued fashion flow, get into one place, which is your data cloud. And then from there, you can create unified profiles and activate it back into the right set of channel it is being required for. It can be your CRM, it could be S3 buckets, it could be your marketing cloud or any other source for that matter. So, or it can go back to say like Snowflake. So, data cloud does all the hard work of ingestion and unification and activation, and then it's your use case which will define that, okay, uh, where it has to be taken next. So let's talk about the product architecture now, and probably then I'll just take a pause for a couple of minutes to take any questions in the meantime. Yeah. So data cloud product architecture, how it looks like, and people who are coming from the previous series of the 12-day bootcamp, they would have seen that, okay, we have data sources. So it can be your service, commerce, sales, marketing, S3 buckets, web and mobile SDKs, or other connectors say like MuleSoft, because if it is MuleSoft, they're like 100 plus or 200 plus data sources which can be connected easily to data cloud. You get the data in, you connect, you have either the streaming or a real-time kind of ingestion based upon again the use case. And we go and prepare them. We do the transforms. So why transforms? There could be a case wherein you would want to take off the phone number and the country code from the beginning of it. You would want to go and clean the the data is coming in with not just like a space delimiter, but a pipe delimiter. So you want to transform it and take the first name, second name, middle name, last name, all separated. All the transforms has to be done. So you have to prepare it. You have to figure out that how is my data going to sit across silos within data cloud. And why silos is because it might be a case that you have a global data cloud org and it is having connectivity to three orgs, one for each of the geography like AMER, EMEA, and APAC. And all three geographies would want to keep the data to separate spaces. They would not want to share it across multiple geographies. So we can actually take them into data cloud and then put them into multiple data spaces. So it would still respect the data governance aspect for it. If they say no, we are good with it to have it all at one place, then yeah, we can bring them into the default data space as well. All that is possible. Then you go in, harmonize it, you create a real-time customer graph of how the data is now looking like of my say 10 million contacts being fed in. And based upon the identity resolution rule sets we have created and all the mapping and modeling we have done, we will be able to match and reconcile. Let's say like first name is like fuzzy logic, last name is like the strict match and phone number. So all those people who have first name fuzzy, last name exact, and phone number exact, they will be unified and reconciled. So like that, we'll create unified customer profiles and then you use those profiles either for calculate insights. These insights are nothing but you want to say figure out the lifetime value of those unified profiles or the cumulative value across three sources they are coming from. Like Gurj is purchasing from from the brick and mortar store, from e-commerce and other franchisee stores. So I can sum up the value of the purchase from all the three locations. So I can use insights for that. I can make that data ready at one place, say like data cloud, and then I can use something like SageMaker, Amazon SageMaker, Google Vertex and all, and use those models to find out or create predictions from my data or the clean data which I have at data cloud. So I can use it for AI predictions. I can use it for BI analysis also because we can connect this with Tableau, and then Tableau will be able to go out and kind of create dashboards and reports based upon what we are seeing on data cloud. And because it would have unified the data all in all at one place. So that's where it is coming up from. And the last part is activate. So you can take, so I actually spoke about data actions. You can use flows to take some actions on your contact records and all, push them to journeys. You can use the SOCL or REST APIs, activation on other kind of ad networks, etc. All that is possible with Data Cloud. So this is all in all the kind of the product architecture, and in the foundation we have got Salesforce platform. It's like have data governance being done through GDPR and all, which are respected by platform by default, and then Hyperforce is where all of this data is sitting. So this kind of goes in and creates a complete picture of how the data is looking like and how is that uh, going to being activated or going to be used on other platform as well. So like all these decks will be shared with you as well through Josna. So I mean, please have a look at these two architectural diagrams one more time. So this talks more about what is the flow of data, and this goes into okay, what happens behind the scenes and what are the nitty-gritties that one has to keep in mind once they're looking into data cloud and they want to use it for their own setup. And on the architectural side, this goes a bit more into detail, wherein we are talking about that, okay, we have got data cloud. What kind of technology we are using for storage? So all this is AWS technology, hot store, Parquet files and all. How we are actually going in and doing the big data processing, how we are kind of doing the transformations based upon the data which is coming in and doing all the mapping. So it is more from the technical point of view. If your customer is asking that, okay, data cloud is great, but we want to understand what technology is supporting all that, things you have been talking about previously, something like this. So what you can tell them is that, okay, this is all possible because this is the kind of technology we are, which is supporting data cloud or powering data cloud kind of uh, activities. Okay. So any questions so far on the architectural side before I kind of, move forward and talk more about now, since this is the product architecture, uh, how do we look into other kind of topics like ingress, egress, unification, again from the architectural lens? So I'll just leave. I mean, I would actually, yeah, someone has raised their hand. So yeah,
Hi.
Hi.
Gajendra, can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Yeah. First of all, this is great. Thanks a lot. I think one of the questions you already answered, the deck part, which Jyotsna will share. So my other question was especially around the two areas. One is the AI part, and other is around the MarTech part.
Yeah.
So my question is like, I don't want to hijack the session, but will we have in this series uh, any sessions sort of deep diving into these two areas, the AI and the MarTech part?
I mean, I would actually leave it to Joseph to answer this, but I know like Funny will be coming in at like some point in this particular series. So Funny, like personally, I know Funny, so he actually has done some work in the same area of MarTech and AI. So it would be like we can request Funny to actually add some background and some slides around MarTech and AI. But to give you a very bigger level understanding on AI, like what role or like how it's being used as of now, is that we have got models or AI models which is sitting into SageMaker and all. We also have models, but suppose customer saying that I would want to use Vertex and all, and how I can use the data which is sitting into uh, data cloud. So we have something called Einstein Studio, wherein we connect the data with us back to those AI models, and then all that kind, I mean, all those models will pick up the unified profiles, and they'll be able to create predictions on, okay, what are the next best action can these people can be suggested upon, or the next best offer which they can be given to. So yeah, I mean, as a part of Einstein Studio, it is possible, but not in this session, but definitely in one of the upcoming sessions. One of the speaker would definitely cover this, and I mean, Josna knows this, so maybe she can add this as a request to the upcoming speaker.
Yes, Gaj. Thanks for all the details. And Krish, yes, we have something in the pipeline. I'm working on adding more as well. And on the MarTech and the Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, there are more sessions coming up, and Einstein as well. So if you look at the groups page, the Phoenix user group page, you will see all the upcoming sessions. And also, if you join the group, you will get automated notifications of all the upcoming sessions. So these sessions are in the pipeline, so you can expect these soon.
Got it. Thanks, Gajendra. Thanks, Jyotsna. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, just looking at any other question in the chat.
Yes, hi. My name is Rahul. Sorry, I can't find my hand button, so I couldn't raise it. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. So can you maybe give some kind of a info on the encryption part as well? Because like the kind of problems that I'm facing with my clients is that they're worried that their data from their legacy system, if they have to be brought into data cloud, they want to encrypt it and get it in. So we're wondering like what kind of encryption will work. Does PGP work? for data cloud, or if you can just give some kind of an intro on encryption part at least, while the data is flowing into data cloud. Thanks.
Okay, so on the encryption side, I would have to double check because it's a bit of a tricky topic. Uh, I am actually leaving my email address onto the chat right now. Maybe you can drop an email on this and I can reply back one-on-one. Why? Because the data encryption, there are like a couple of more things I would want to ask that do you have the access to the uh, private key or the encryption key of the data coming in? Would you want to decrypt it at the time of the transformations or at some data stages and things like that? So maybe if you can kind of reach out on this email address I've just now shared, I can give you a better answer on this. So yeah, sorry, I'll not be able to like give a detailed or a better answer right now.
No, no problem. I understand. I get in touch with you. Definitely. Thank you.
Thanks, Gaj. I don't see any other questions as of now.
So I'll just go ahead and probably I'll actually be a bit faster right now because what we have is we have got just 2 slides at the end of this deck, but those are important because those are more like the data cloud architect questions one would have to ask. And in those slides, we'll actually go into like much into a deeper level that what are the other kind of area or how the data cloud layers get peeled off when we ask simple question like what data sources and what more they can actually go in and approach. So I'll be going a bit into swift mode, but I'll actually stop for question and answers for sure. And these decks are there with you, so you can always access these kind of content. But yeah, let's continue on to our next topic. So coming up from there, yeah. Second, yeah. So yeah. So we're talking about architecture and yeah. Yeah. So this is all about ingress and egress is like how you're getting data inside data cloud through your multiple connectors and how you are getting that data available from data cloud to other systems. So like these are multiple ingress and egress options. This would be hugely useful. This is a roadmap item. Why? Because all these latency levels are getting better time and time. So uh, this is considered into pilot or beta because what you are seeing is like 15 minutes might become real time. So please keep an eye and after some time do go back and recheck on help website that is it still hourly frequency or has it come down, because we are seeing an improvement into latency with every release. But this diagram talks into a much detailed manner that what is the kind of segmentation or what is the kind of ingress, bidirectional, unidirectional flow is possible with data cloud and other places, and how much time will be taken. So this looks like an eye chart now, but when you will have the deck with you, you can actually go into much detail and keep it handy and use it for your data client discussions as well. So as an architect, when people are asking me that, okay, you are using data cloud and you can get from all the places, how can we get value and what is that, what we can do with data cloud? So basically, creating a unified profile has always been at the top priority, and that is what people always know about. But when you have that unified profile, you can use it for analytics. You can use it for data actions and segmentation. Take it back to multiple sports for active for using those profiles. You can use AI and deliver predictions with Einstein Studio and other models. Like you can add Vertex and Databricks also in this list, or you can consume your data cloud data into your again CRMs through either LWC if it is both are on the same org, that is data cloud and your CRM, or through APIs if they are onto different orgs. But yes, there are like multiple ways how you can actually go and take an action on your data which is being churned out with the help of data cloud, and there are multiple use cases. So if I want to talk about egress, just take like a couple of examples that, okay, if I'm going to act on my data cloud data, there are multiple egress options. So I can use APIs, profile APIs, query APIs. I can use webhook if I want to make it some sort of near real-time kind of orchestration. If I'm okay with file drops, I can use FTPs. I can make it used on Marketing Cloud and all on my activation targets. And if I want to go back and use that data on Snowflake, Tableau, BigQuery and all, and give them access to my data, like data in and data out. So all that I can do with my data egress options. So there are like a lot of options what as an architect I can have, and based upon the use case, I can take a better call on, okay, where is that? I would have to go in and use one of those options. And data actions is one of the most commonly used kind of a way, because it helps us kind of draw a near real-time kind of event orchestration. You can go in and get your data from multiple sources, and then you can take it to Salesforce platform events, where you can either maybe update fields, run flows and all, or run some workflows within Slack. But not just platform events, but you have got other sources also where you can go in and make use of your egress options and deliver those custom events through data actions. Now what's happening is, or like how I would be going in and using data action is that I have some sort of ingestion, and I'm able to get those data sources, create identity resolution. My next step would be to create insights, and then I have to set up my data actions through which I can either call Salesforce flows or use webhooks to run those actions or trigger those flows based upon my business rules that I have created. So I'll give an example of how one of my data action was uh, being used for, is that I am a service rep, and I am actually talking to a customer, and my company has got 2 to 3 kind of selling modes. Like the example I took, e-commerce website and brick and mortar store. To keep it simple, we'll just have two. And what I want is every time when I kind of click a certain button, it should get me the most recent, the lifetime value of that customer. So that I just, even if it says $500, and I feel that no, the customer lifetime value is low, but when I click that button, it will fetch the lifetime value and in fact, the cumulative lifetime value across both the sources. And it will give me $2,000, for example. And then I can understand that on e-commerce, the person might be purchasing low, but he's a heavy brick and mortar shopper. So he's a valuable customer for me, something like that. So basically what you can do is you can have screen invoke flows within your platform, which goes through connected app via OAuth, talks to your data cloud, or it goes in and with the help of Apex classes, call the APIs, which will be using calculate inside APIs, and find out for that individual what is the unified individual ID, and for that unified individual ID, what is the cumulative lifetime value. So through that, we'll be able to get the data coming in from data cloud and coming up on that service rep screen, and it will be able to, and he will be able to find out that, okay, what is that what kind of uh, offers or what kind of services is the person really eligible for. So all that we can actually go in and do with help of data cloud and data actions. So you can actually go in and surface all that kind of information onto your core CRM. And this is how it looks like from the architectural pattern point of view. So basically what's happening here is that we have something called as like email. Okay. And how will that experience looks like for kind of a service rep to go and find out what is James background is, and what is that kind of purchase James have done so far. So I'll actually use the email address. I'll have the contact, and he's actually a contact for me. So I'll use the contact point email, I'll use the contact point phone. With the help of it, I'll find out what is their unified individual ID. And with that, I'll be having access to the unified profile sitting into data cloud. So we can actually go in and able to figure out using the data cloud APIs that, okay, what is the value assigned. Value means the lifetime value, or what is the unified or the best email to whom the person can be approached, and all that will be attached to the unified profile. So once we go in and use these contact point information, maybe email, maybe phone, we'll be accessing the unified ID, and through unified ID, the whole of unified profile out there. So with this kind of setup and with this kind of an architectural pattern, I can actually go in and access the unified profiles and make them available onto my screens. So this is useful, especially because that all kind of very much clear the boundary between, is data cloud a marketing tool alone? No, it can be used for any of your platform use cases, sales, service, Tableau, or any of the other use cases as well, because it's being dealt at the platform level, and all that information which data cloud is trying to provide is actually accessible across across all the sources. Yeah. So that's about the architectural pattern. And before I move to the next topic, I want to just look at one question which I've got as of now. For real-time SDK based sources, is the method same as in MCP? So yes, for marketing cloud personalization, we have got sitemap and we have got tags there. So we are actually using the same kind of tech stack in order to get the SDKs, or make those SDK data sources talk into data cloud as well. So unlike MCP, one call out, wherein you have got milliseconds for a certain homepage to refresh and show you the best of the offer. What happens here is, based upon your SDKs and your browsing activity, it will definitely come back and enrich and be a part of unification. The real time would be here 2 to 3 minutes, not like milliseconds. And once you'll go through the other deck which I had shared with you, you'll actually get much better idea on especially the timing and latency, because for a few of the use cases, that is more like a make or break, that can we actually use this approach or not. So maybe if I can come back to that eye chart. Yeah, here it is. And you're talking about marketing cloud personalization. So yeah, so we're talking about up to 15 minutes of getting the user profile affinities and engagement data from MCP, but we've got something called as like SDKs as well, and that is close to real time when we're getting that into data cloud. Yeah. In BYOL, what are some use cases where the data doesn't get copied in data cloud? So if I'm talking about, or if I'm understanding BYOL properly, we're talking about something like Snowflake, and you would want to understand that when does the data doesn't get copied. So suppose my customer is saying that, hey, I don't want to get into all of the data migration and all. Why you can't just access data from Snowflake? I don't want to manage two data repositories or data lakes and all. So in that case, we'll go for zero ETL, and we will be getting the DLOs and all virtually mounted from those lakes. So that's where we're not getting data inside data cloud, but you will still be getting access to all of those billing records, contact records, say example Snowflake, which will still be useful for creating your identities and unified profiles. So that's where the use case which comes up, that why we would not want to get in or copy the data into data cloud based upon the customer is asking for us. Yeah. Why do we need to map source ID to contact point email ID as well as party? Why does so I'm just reading a question in case it is visible to all. It's great, but I'm just reading this question for the bigger audience. So why do we need to map source ID to contact point email ID as well as party? Why does party need to be mapped to when we do have contact point email ID already mapped to? Maybe I just want to go back to this screen, and maybe this question came from this particular, yeah. Yeah. So if I'm able to kind of correlate or answer this question based upon what you're seeing on the screen, so we are having a source ID, something like email address, like that could be one thing. In this example, it is email address, but I can have contact ID, lead ID as well. And there are like something like B2B kind of use cases as well. So it can be opportunities also. So I can have one of those source IDs and I can go and map it back to my party, because my party is something which is helping me understand who is that individual or who is that party for which the unification would be done. It would not always be the email address for me. There's huge chances that I don't have an email address, I have a lead ID or I have a contact ID, and I would want to go ahead and still we would want to get unified. So it is, and that's why we would want to go and use the primary key on the source ID side and map it back into party. And in data cloud, because it's more like an architectural session, so I can go into a bit of a detail. You have got party ID, you have got party email and all those aspects, and they get synced back to the respective fields. So as a best practice, we have got the source ID of the primary key, which gets mapped into party. I got something say like social security number or some unique identifier like driving license, that will become a party ID. And I got something like party identification, that will be my driving license. So all those fields get mapped to party based upon they are coming to, and email obviously be linked to the contact point email address. But suppose your records have email only as the unique field, then we'll be mapping the party also to the email ID as well. So it will not just be mapped to contact point email, but also to the party ID. So based upon again the data strategy the person would be creating, we have to take all these decisions. But this is not odd or incorrect to map it back into these two sources. Yeah. Are there any consumption cost when sending data to and from Snowflake? Yes. And it's not exactly into like number of records being sent, but more like SQL access. Because what is being happening here is we are going and running SQL on their databases, getting those records, and like the term I used, virtually mounting the DLOs. The DLOs are not coming in and sitting like in my current ingress options, but they're actually coming in and coming in through my SQL query output. So there will be, or there is actually, yes, consumption cost. And because it got GA in February 24, the last release, and hence it's not coming up on my current slides. But this is a pretty much a good way to understand that, okay, what are the kind of multiple usage types, why it's being used, and how can we actually go and use the credits uh, appropriately. Okay, so we have got multiple usage types. So once you have got SKUs, we have got okay, I don't have it handy, but once I'm sending the deck to Josna, there's actually a public facing help article which talks about how much credits per million rows processed is out there, which means that if you are say like doing some sort of profile unification, that is an expensive operation. So for 1 million rows, you will be using 100,000 credits. Whereas if you're just trying to run some data queries, So for 1 million rows processed, just 2 credits are being consumed. So basically, based upon your usage type, the credits are different. And it's actually a help article, which I'll make sure to add into my deck once we are actually setting up this deck and sharing with all. So then coming on to the it's just that we need to ask the customer the right kind of questions, and like they won't ask for it directly that, hey, I'm looking for data cloud kind of a solution. But if they're actually looking for answers based upon these kind of prompts, then it's a good indicator that yes, they would want to be told about data cloud, and data cloud can actually solve a lot of their challenges across these lines. Right. So, I mean, when you actually hear customer about, okay, we need more personalized customers experiences, then yes, you might want to collate from data from multiple data sources and take it up from one place and uh, make it up for there. So here, from the sales angle also and from the use case angle also, we are speaking about multiple kind of use cases, and where data cloud can actually be a great play or actually a great answer. So this is one of my key slides. They kind of look simple, but I want to like spend good 20 minutes on these slides just to talk about that. Okay, how can you go in and use these questions and talk to their end customers and find out that how they're trying to use data cloud. So so to start with, like if I am a data cloud architect, I want to understand that how many systems will I be integrating with, like with some data lake, some warehouse, some public cloud platform. Why or like who all system will be providing data into data cloud? What kind of logical separation required? Like, is it happening on like geography, some sort of identified systems based upon some use cases, based upon business LOBs? So all those questions will help me understand the requirement for data spaces, because I have to go and replicate my rules across multiple data spaces. So people who come from marketing cloud background, it is as good as BU. So just understand, if in BU you have to do a lot of things simultaneously, that's where you're coming up from, right? So that's one place. How you're going to use the data cloud licenses? So it's an interesting question, which means that do you have only one CRM instance? You got multiple CRM instances, and will they be like how many users coming in and using those licenses? What is your dev UAT and prod environment philosophy so far when you talk about other clouds? And and what is that what we can do right now, because we don't have a sandbox for data cloud as of now, right? So the best case what we ask people is, maybe you have to buy two licenses, or you have to keep one data spaces for your dev and prod purpose and all those things. So those things have to be asked in advance, that okay, during the setup phase itself, that how is those admin role being played upon. So this gives us a good idea of, okay, how much I can go in, and I can then ask people question about setup and architecture. Then as an architect, I can ask more question upon use cases, select segmentation, how you want to activate, how those event trigger would want to happen, how would your business intelligence need would be, that which systems, CRM analytics, Tableau, uh, MCI, Datorama, who all needs to be connected? Will there be any kind of automated action based upon the intelligence coming out from those reports? All those things one can actually go in and ask as an architect to your end customer. So this was all about setup. Maybe I can talk a bit more about unification as well, because that is sometimes one of the most key aspects people come to data cloud for. So as an architect, I want to understand that how many profile graphs you want to configure for use cases. And what does that mean? That is that like you only have shoppers in your data sources which are coming in, or shoppers, managers, sales reps, account owners. So how many personas would be there for which you want to create the profile graphs for, right? How many systems will provide the profile information for unification? So for that, I need to go and check that, okay, from where I'm getting the taxonomy, or how does the harmonization comes into action. Like, how do I understand that what kind of mapping has to be done? What is the primary key? What is the foreign key? What is the shared identifier? All those things which we have to keep in mind. What are the kind of rules you are using for profile unification? I spoke about one rule in the beginning, like fuzzy first name, exact last name, and phone number. So we need to ask for those rules so that we can understand, okay, what are those attributes through which we are able to find the matching individuals and take it up from there. And what is your expectations from those unification results? Okay, so unification results mean is that do you want to have like resolve less of your individuals or more of your individuals? Sometimes what happens is that you have got 10 million source profiles, and if you have very strict identity resolution rule sets, you might just be left with 1 million unique individuals for which you can do some sort of an activation. Now, this is a challenging aspect because you might not get much to contact from your marketing angle, but they are more precise. Or you can ask that, do you want more number of unified profiles, something like say like 3 or 4 million? Then you can be more relaxed with your rule sets. So you can ask those questions upfront. And what is the vision with your unification results is to like go for data cleansing, deduping, and all those things with the help of data cloud. And lastly, you should ask for some sample set of profiles, because through that you can understand that for the testing purpose and the verification purpose, that if you are able to reconcile from 3 profiles into 1 profile, this means that yes, data cloud is able to match the performance or match the expectation that customer was looking for at the beginning. So some set of profiles and what is the kind of unification they are looking for would be like really helpful. So this is like one example of unification kind of questions an architect would want to ask for. For ingestion, preparation, everything else, be like more questions someone has to go in for. So this was more to give an idea from that, okay, what is that an architect can go in, prod more, I mean prod the customer, ask for more insights, and then go back to the drawing board and understand that in the architecture what we have seen, what kind of system do I now need to design, and how these asks or requirements match to my current product capabilities. Okay, so this was about the architectural kind of aspects I want to touch upon. Any questions if we have? Maybe we can spend some time in the Q&A now. Before we wrap up, I'll just open the chat window. But yeah, any questions if you have, feel free to ask now. But yeah, this is something which was more important from the like setup perspective, like setup and architectural, and one of the major data cloud perspective of unification. And like I told, there are like 5, 6 other branches, and as an architect, and in fact, in the coming sessions, you'll actually be getting to know more about, okay, how does SDKs behave, what is the best practice for implementation and all. That will give you good amount of idea for the kind of questions one has to ask and all. So yeah, this is about the Q&A now. So maybe I can answer few questions if we have, or we can wrap it up as well.
Thanks, Gaj. This is so informational, and thank you for answering the questions along the way. You answered most of the questions in the chat. So I don't see anything new, Gaj.
Yeah.
So we have few more minutes. If anybody has any questions, this is your chance. Please post them in the chat, or you can unmute and ask directly.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I just got one question, so I'll answer that. But before that, I'll just uh, uh, I mean, suggest a few things is like for TDA, like a lot of interesting data cloud sessions were being run. Please go to Salesforce Plus, which is a free platform, and please go and get access to those uh, workshops and all, which were being run by Daniel and few other of our SMEs. That would be of huge uh, use for every one of us. So that one thing I'm right now doing, catching up on those virtual sessions. So that's one thing I want to recommend to other people here. Now coming up to this question, can you discuss how consent is managed in data cloud? Um I may have consent coming from individual objects for the consent objects or SFMC all subscribers consent. So data cloud does not does not provide consent out of the box, and it's actually a bit I won't use the word risky honestly, but I mean for consent we don't I mean always or prescribe data cloud as one of the thing. But what you can always do is you can bring consent from say like marketing cloud, and by doing some bit of tinkering as like giving a higher source priority to say marketing cloud data source or that file as a data source, and use that consent on top of any other consent. But it's something which has to be very carefully architected, and it is possible, but with some sort of customization in your data cloud implementation, but it is not supported out of the box and all. And at the best practice, like what you're asking for, just make sure that consent is actually a part of your data mapping, and it's part of your most of the engagement data coming in, or sorry, the profile data coming in, not engagement, but profile data, so that you can map the consent from all the three data sources, for example, and figure out that for marketing cloud email, the consent is yes. For say like some other email source, the consent is uh, a, yes or no. Or for any other third source, the consent is yes or no. So that you can always go back and based upon given the higher source of priority, or if it is a, like if it is no for one, it is like no for all, you can take that action. But like one best practice, what I can think of right now is that having the consent field being mapped to all the profile objects or profile category object coming in, so that we have a better uniformity and we can use it. But yeah, I mean, it's actually one thing which we have to keep in mind, that data cloud is not exactly being built to manage the consent. People have done it in past, but it has been more of a custom or what to say, their own way of implementation. They were able to achieve this. Yeah. Just looking at apart from chat, we don't have any Q&A thing, right? Yeah. So
Nothing. So this is it.
this is it. Cool. I think this is good, but this is just the beginning of this boot camp. We have got many other promising sessions coming up. So please stay tuned. Please bookmark the playlist which Josna will be sharing up for this boot camp as well, apart from the previous boot camp which just got covered. And this should help you, I mean, answer or get answer to a lot of your other kind of questions. So I think we are with good company. Yeah. Thank
Thanks
you.
very much, Gaj, and also thanks for sharing other resources as well. There is a lot of content coming in the data cloud space. So I really felt bad for missing TDX because I saw so many sessions on data cloud, which I have missed. But as you mentioned on Salesforce Plus, we have the option, we have the opportunity to check those sessions again. Thank you.
That's all. And thanks a lot, Josna. I'll be looking forward to other sessions happening. Would want to attend them as well. And yeah, everyone else, please take care. And yeah, hope to
Definitely,
see
Gaj.
you all
Thank
soon.
you. Yeah, thank you very much. And thank you, everyone. So the next session is next Tuesday. Tuesday and Wednesday, we have the session again. So there is some slight change in the timings. So it's going to be 8 a.m. for the next week. And Coming week, it's going to be at 9 p.m. Please make sure that you are checking the time and also the sessions dates as well. So these are staggered a bit to match the speakers' availability as well. Just make sure before you plan to attend these sessions. Thank you very much. And this recording will be available soon. And slide deck as well will be shared on the video description. Take care and see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.